Now it's good. Okay, now it's better. So I said no luck with YouTube. Not comfortable for streaming. Funny I say that because it's probably the most popular platform for streaming, but it's actually terrible because I can't share my screen. But also I can't resume meetings. I can't edit videos. It's all very strange. But okay, never mind. I'm ranting about YouTube. So a small recap, I was talking about the Fuse Swap launch, which will be gradual. We're going to do a soft launch. We're going to work on building liquidity before we launch it to the public. We're going to focus on plugging this into the rest of our products. We want to give an experience for customers that is gasless, but we also don't want our customers to use Fuse Swap interface. We want them to use Fuse Swap liquidity, but not the Fuse Swap interface. And prepare the questions you want to ask me, and I'll start answering them shortly. And thanks for all the people who were patient. I had the internet problems and YouTube kicked me out. So now, other than the updates about Fuse Swap, we're working on some plans to focus with in the future with the network, build better governance. I talked about it in the last few minutes. And one of the main things that we want to tackle is really taking time to let the dust settle and focus on our existing communities that are launching on Fuse. Some of them we didn't announce yet. So right now, a big portion of what our team is working on is really something that you didn't hear about, because it's new collaborations, new pilots that we will soon announce. And some of them are really, really exciting. I can tell you already that we have one in Asia, one in South America, and one in UK, which are the three that are most exciting for us and take up, I would say, something like 80% of our time with meetings and development work. And once it's live, it will probably be very exciting. But mainly for us, it's not about announcing a collaboration or a new pilot or a new community or microeconomy that we launched. And the key here is to actually show how much money flows inside those economies, how much users use it, how much merchants are saving if they were using Visa. So those metrics, even if they're not in the millions, they're the most important part for us to focus. We want more real usage, and it doesn't need to be millions of dollars with millions of users. We want to show this working on a small scale before we can replicate this across the world. So that's the updates in a nutshell. I'm free to take your questions. I see that Chad is asking, so Fuse Swap will replace the bridge. So Fuse Swap will not replace the bridge. Fuse Swap, as part of Fuse Swap, we've built a UI for the bridge. And this is something that I can't share with you, unfortunately, on YouTube, because it doesn't let me share my screen. But the idea is that users don't, like, until now, the bridge was something that only developers could use, and it was something that wasn't really comfortable. Now we improved the architecture. We upgraded the bridge to the MB bridge a few months ago, and Fuse Swap is providing a nice UI around it, so users can move their money, their NERC token from mainnet to Fuse or from Fuse to mainnet. The problem is Fuse token. So the bridge works for NERC20, but the Fuse token on Fuse is a native token. It's not an ERC20. That's one problem. The other problem, you can't have two bridges for one token. Just technically impossible. You have to have a unique bridge per token. So because the Fuse bridge, the Fuse token bridge is operated by the validators and currently is offline, we would need to fix that first before we can launch the bridge for Fuse token. So Fuse Swap will launch with the new bridge. The new bridge will work with any ERC20, so you can use it with everything except the Fuse token. The Fuse token will be added in a separate bridge over the next few weeks. Like we communicated, if anybody wants information about it, you can read it on our forum. There's a very long explanation about what we're planning to do from a technical perspective, and I wouldn't discuss this right now. It's a bit technical, but I would say that the plan is to launch it by the end of November, beginning of December. When I say it, I mean Fuse token support in the bridge on Fuse Swap. So that's something that that a lot of you have asked. Next question is by Rob. Which Fuse Swap LP pairs will be eligible for rewards? So we're starting with 4 assets: USDC, DAI, Wrapped BTC, and Wrapped ETH. And those 4 token pairs or 3 token pairs are going to launch in the new LP rewards program over the next few days. Next question, please expand what you mean by other products will use Fuse Swap LPs. So Fuse Swap is basically a fork of Uniswap. Uniswap is a product for people that have MetaMask and people that know how to use crypto. Uniswap is used by a few 100,000 people, and MetaMask is used by 1 million daily active users or weekly active users, something like that. We're talking about a lot, but not really anywhere close to mainstream adoption. If we want to take DEXs and contracts and Ethereum to the next level, we can't let users go through the Uniswap interface or through MetaMask. We need to create an experience that resembles, I don't know, Robinhood, if anybody used Robinhood, a special mobile app for people that want to trade and are not traders. And it has like, I don't remember, crazy amounts of users. And those users don't need to be technical. They don't need to be investors. They're doing low volume transactions on mobile. And this is the experience that we want to replicate. Maybe somebody wants to exchange his euros to dollars, or maybe somebody wants to participate, get some passive income on his phone. We want this experience to be as fun and as frictionless as possible. And this is what I mean by not using the interface, because if you're using the interface, you need to be quite technical and you need to deal with a lot of friction. So the goal is to add this, Fuse Swap will be a part of our wallet. So anybody who wants to create a community, he wants to add an LP pool for his token on Fuse Swap, his customers can use this liquidity to trade, and they don't need to be crypto users. That's really the big advantage here. Next question by Anga Joe. NFT use cases in crypto space are on the rise for blockchain projects. So how does Fuse think about the evolution of NFTs in the crypto space and the real world, and what benefit do you get? So I think it's really, I see an NFT as like kind of an infrastructure product, very similar to ERC, like equivalent of an ERC20. Well, basically an NFT is just a different type of an ERC, like a different protocol. I don't see this actually, I see the low-hanging fruit actually as fungible tokens, not non-fungible tokens. NFTs, the way I see them, they're part of the internet economy, or maybe you can say internet economy that try to mimic real world or the real life. And until now, it was really something that technologically was a big problem. But what we're doing at Fuse is really trying to take cash, like really focus on cash and do a vertical integration of how we can replace cash, physical cash and Visa with an alternative that works fundamentally different. And NFTs could be a part of it. I just see the low-hanging fruit as cash, as digitizing cash. NFTs have a big friction point, or maybe they have a learning, like right now the addressable market of NFTs are people that are within crypto. This is the way I see it. Collectibles in general right now are interesting as a niche, but money and alternatives means of exchange is very universal. So the way I see it, NFTs is if your goal is to develop NFTs, probably Fuse is not the go-to platform. If your goal is to make NFTs accessible for mainstream audiences, then definitely you can use it. Right now, NFTs supported by the Fuse infrastructure, but you can use NFTs with our wallet. It can hold any type of asset, including ERC20. So technically, it's possible. In terms of UI use case, that requires a bit more research. And the benefit you get with using NFTs on Fuse is like using any other token on Fuse. It's making it useful for people that don't have crypto or don't know about crypto and don't want to know about crypto. So how do we make it frictionless for them? This is something that can be used both for NFTs as well as ERC20. But again, as I said, NFTs are a different use case. Yakubu is asking if I'm a payment gateway. Can Fuse give access to me using my service on the platform? I'm asking because there's no really exposure for Africans who really want to use Fuse to solve native issues. So actually, we have a project on Fuse that is working with Digital Rand, which is a South African company that is doing a stablecoin back to the Rand. And if you are a payment gateway, then please reach out to us. We're talking also with other companies in Africa. I think Africa is a great place to test crypto, and definitely places where there's no infrastructure or there's no banking. There's a very high demand for those services, and I think in the past you can see that African countries leapfrogged straight into using mobile to pay and bypassed even Visa and all the solutions like that. So definitely, if you can reach out to our team, I'm happy to help you and happy to discuss this. Next question. The Fuse token currently depends on Ethereum platform, but Ethereum blockchain currently has a lot of scalability issues. Then what are the main reasons behind choosing ETH over other blockchains? That's a question by Anga Joe. So actually, Joe, I think that right now Ethereum doesn't have a scalability issue. I just don't agree. I think he has there's no block, like if a blockchain doesn't have if you don't have a demand for a blockchain, then you don't have a scalability issue. You will see that any blockchain that claims they have solved the scalability issue is actually without real demand. And Ethereum has a lot of scalability solutions. Now with fees getting higher, we're seeing some of them being tested in scale. And anything that has to do with blockchains takes a lot of time. So it's not like a binary thing. Either it solved the scalability issue or not. But it's on a trajectory to solve the scalability issues and build second layer solutions. And Ethereum is a global settlement network. Right now, it has, the reason we're using it is because it has by far more adoption than any other blockchain. I would even argue that in terms of activity and developer adoption and projects, it has probably the most adoption than all the other projects combined, including Bitcoin. You can see those numbers on GitHub. You can see all the projects that are forking it or just using the Ethereum as a protocol. In terms of stable coins, pretty much all stable coins are mainly moved on Ethereum mainnet. It was on Bitcoin in the past, but it's no longer on Bitcoin because it's just not a good platform for this. In terms of fiat ramps, you see pretty much every fiat ramp, every exchange support Ethereum. In terms of DeFi itself, you see that pretty much any blockchain that is an Ethereum killer tries to replicate DeFi for them. So I wouldn't try to believe what people are saying about Ethereum, because numbers don't lie. It has the biggest fee that is paid, goes to Ethereum miners more than Bitcoin. Like there's more money for fees that goes to miners on Ethereum than on Bitcoin. It's second to none, the way I see it. Right now, maybe in the future, we'll see Libra, we'll see Tron, maybe we'll see Tezos. I'm a big fan of all those projects, but you can combine all of their adoption together, it wouldn't be as high as Ethereum. So that's regarding the question why we choose Ethereum over other blockchains. Muhammad Javed asked, any NFT program for fuse holder? I don't know what you're asking. I have no idea. So please elaborate. I'm happy to answer. Yakubu asking, will FuseSwap support ERC-677? Yes, FuseSwap supports anything that Uniswap supports. And I believe some of the assets that we played with are ERC-677, but you can test it yourself once it's live. So I think that's it so far. Does anybody have more questions? Guys? Wait 1 second. What new features will be added to the studio? Great question. So it's hard actually to prioritize. We're looking at something that can evolve in literally millions of different directions. We believe that the best way to move forward is to ask our users. So this is something that we started doing recently. Work with people that issue on the studio, discuss with them what are their needs. We're seeing a big requirement that is coming up over and over again by projects. When I create a token, let's say mark dollars, and I want to create the backing for this token, let's say by DAI. So I want to back mark dollars with DAI 1-to-1. And right now, it's something that you can do, but it's really hard. So that's one of the features that we were thinking about adding to the Fuse Studio, like one-click create backing for a coin without fancy AMMs or dealing with some difficult implementations, really just setting the exchange rate between two tokens and make them tradable through a market maker contract. So that's something that we're thinking about adding. Actually, we need to add like special feature request page so we can give people, a way to vote what they want to see as part of our product. Because we can think about millions of features and functionalities. For instance, we want to do we want to charge, basically want to create a plugin that adds trading for your token, and you can actually set which pools on FuseSwap. You can choose which pools are available for trading for your customers. So for instance, somebody can say, I want people to be able to buy euros with dollars, or in the future add actually crypto trading or other assets that will be rolled out soon. There are some features that I can't really discuss because I don't want to overhype, because I know if I say we're working on it, people will start asking when it's ready. So some stuff are in research actually, and some of them are in advanced development, but we currently keep it to ourselves. And this is something that I want to change. And over the next few weeks, as I said, we're looking at how to do governance and launching staking and launching the new LP rewards and bridge and a lot of different things that are really only on the network level and not dealing with anything that has to do with the studio. But I would also want to add like a feature list as part of the studio. Chad is asking, are there still plans for 1 cent transaction? So right now, we don't see a need for increasing the transaction cost. We see that people are using the network as an alternative for mainnet. Mainnet right now, let's say Fuse swap relative to Uniswap is something like 1,000 times cheaper. And this is something that we want to keep. The 1 cent transaction is really a mechanism to prevent spamming. Right now, if you have some Fuse, you can spam the network, and it's not a good thing. The cost of the transaction, or why we thought about 1 cent, first, that's because we didn't want people to spam. Second, is because we needed to be low enough, like not to charge too much money, because if you're too expensive, people can just move to another chain. So there's no moat here. I can't keep people using Fuse and pay us a fee. So I need to really focus or nail my value proposition. It needs to worth it for the customer. So right now we want to make it lower than what we think it should be, because we want to grow adoption and we want to gradually grow it. And once our blocks are full, then for sure we would need the 1 cent transaction in place, because then we would need to build a solution to do off-chain transactions. So that the plan is actually something that we're thinking about for a long time, and this is something that we plan to communicate after we finish researching, and also discuss this with the public. So yeah, it's going to be increased. I don't have a timeline on when, because right now the focus is not about how do we burn Fuse coins or how do we grow the value that goes to the validators. It's more about how do we grow the amount of transactions on the network. And definitely, even if we do increase, we probably will increase the fees, but very gradually. I actually think the timeline should be in the next month or two, increase it a little bit, and see how people are getting used to it. I don't think people will have reservations, and the validators will happily approve it. I need to remind you that every proposal, we're not the only entity that can vote. We're also not the only entity that can decide about those things. This is a public discussion. It's not only my opinion that matters. We can have a FIP about it ready in the next few months, but our approach is actually cheaper the better right now for adoption, unless we have spam problem, which we don't right now. Right, so Anga Joe is asking, on average, all projects always assume long-term benefits. Here I want to ask what benefits I can get in short if I join your project or a Fuse tokens. So that's a really simple answer. You can stake them, you can provide liquidity, you can build on the network, you can build a wallet, launch your community. If you have an existing community, I think as an investor, chasing short-term is not really investing. It's called gambling. And every investor ever focuses on long-term, unless they're day traders. And in this case, you would want the token to go 2x in a matter of a few days, which is not realistic. So I'm telling this in advance. The benefits of short-term investment in Fuse are none. Like we're really looking for long-term investors. Additional contract deployments from the studio, say token pre-sale. I'm not. You're asking about do we have a token pre-sale? I'm not sure if I understand the question. So Yakubu is asking, at any point will Fuse be able to do transactions offline, then sync up when they access internet? I'm actually getting this question a lot. Today, the transactions are stored offline. So this is something that actually we implemented. You can store the transactions offline, but that doesn't mean the transaction is getting approved or cleared. Any blockchain without internet will be able only to store the transaction, wait until the internet comes back, and only then approve it and sync it with the rest of the network. So that's a limitation of a blockchain. Blockchain works exactly like the internet. So if you don't, a blockchain is an internet. So if you don't have access to the internet, you can't really approve transactions or sync the information with the rest of the network. The solution in that case, if you have an event and this event needs some sort of scalability, you can take all the transactions on a side and approve them locally and create like a local server. But again, it's not something easy. So need to discuss. You need internet in a nutshell if we want to easily access blockchains without hacking a special solution. Rob says, think Fred means that a token pre-sale for a token pre-sale plugin for the studio. Interesting question. Actually, a lot of projects come to us about those types of plugins. I don't think you need Fuse for that. I don't even think you need a plugin for that. Like if you create a coin and you want people to buy it, I don't see a one-size-fits-all solution. This is not ICOs needs to be KYC'd, so there's that. Then somebody needs to hold the money, and there's like a security aspect. Also, you need to decide what would be, I'm sending money to a contract, what the contract sends me back. So every ICO needs like a different mechanism. I don't see this as a one-size-fits-all solution. And because there's a lot of scrutiny and regulation aspects, I don't see a launchpad as part of our studio. That doesn't mean people can't build it by themselves, but it's not a feature. I see this as like an entire platform that you need to develop. Just because I have some knowledge in this space, I know that it's not super straightforward. So no, this is something that actually is possible, relatively easy, but it has so many aspects to it that we can't just build it as a small feature. It's not a small feature at all. So any more questions? I think we're done. And again, really sorry that it had to be disconnected in the middle. I see that the corona screwed the internet here, and next time we'll do, I don't know, we'll do it on cellular network or something. So this is the update. Feel free to ask more questions on Telegram. You can go to our channel and chat away. We are answering all the questions as in the minute they asked. And yeah, I need to test my computer for COVID. Thanks, Chad. Actually, I bought a new camera, so no more camera problems. Finally, after almost a year of COVID, I have a normal camera for Zoom calls. So yeah, and I hope the sound quality is better. So we'll do more AMAs, and really thanks for all the questions. Bye, guys.